I'm going to call the work session to order. Welcome everyone to the Bellefonte Borough Council work session. No council action is taken during the work session. Mr. Bernier, do you have a trivia question for us tonight?
In honor of today being the first day of spring, what else is it referred to as?
Vernal equinox?
The vernal equinox, meaning
First day of spring.
in Latin, vernal means spring, equinox means equal nights.
Oh.
There you go.
All right.
You said make it a little easier, there you go.
I didn't think that was
Well
easy.
done,
Doug,
Ken.
that was an
Well done.
excellent job on your
I'm
part.
under
that
pressure over
It was a
here.
lucky guess. I'm glad you called me before the meeting with that.
That's what we need, a little bit of laughter.
Okay, here we go. So item 3, items for discussion. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. We're running a little bit behind schedule and Kat is on our Zoom. So I'd like to start with item B first, which is CATA service. And it's a proposed split of the cost / new formula. And Don, you can introduce our
Yeah.
CATA representative.
I'll just first mention that, as you know, and I think I brought up in a couple meetings that CATA has put together a committee of Center Region and Bellefonte Spring and Benner. We've met a couple times and we're talking about somehow revising the formula. In the meantime, Kimberly Fergale and Derek Sherman from CATA are on Zoom to answer any questions. Deb had asked a couple weeks ago if we were going to talk about CATA, that she would like some information. So I sent you today, and in case you didn't get a chance to look at it, we made copies for everybody and set it at their desk. There's a little packet there from what CATA had sent us. But one of the things that we might need an answer to, now I can't say we will because we haven't heard anything yet, but last week Kim mentioned about the Bellefonte Spring and Benner's current budget and the fact that it might go up just a straight 5% next year. And if we wanted to modify our own formula between the three of us, that was up to us. Well, I don't think that we're interested, but, I know Spring, and we haven't heard from Spring and Benner, so the conversation, at least tonight, that I'd like to be able to get out of this would be, having some direction from council, because CATA wants an answer. If there is any changes, they would want to know by the 29th of the month. So, Kimberly, did I address that right? And if I didn't, you can add it or modify it in any way.
That's correct. We just have deadlines to get the contracts out, and the group is not solidifying around any new formula quickly. So with the possibility of going up 5%, there has been some expression of displeasure with the split Spring, Benner, and Bellefonte have, and CATA's doing what we were last told. So we got that split from the group of 3, and it can be modified in any way the group wants. We just need to hear a new split that the 3 agree on. So as Dawn said, it's up to someone of the 3 to approach the others and then have that discussion. Derek and I are just here for support tonight, whatever you may want to know.
Right now, the split for next year would be Bellefonte 41%, Spring 49%, and Benner 10%.
Where is seeing that?
This was in the actual email.
Is Spring participating? Are they withdrawing from CATA service, Spring Township?
We've gotten nothing official. I mean, we've also heard that, but their manager continues to come to the meetings and participate. So it's a possibility.
If that happens, how would that affect Bellefonte? Bellefonte
I didn't hear
share.
you.
How would that affect Bellefonte share if they withdraw?
Well, the group could decide, the group as a whole. So 9 entities, so the 5-member municipalities, the 3 contracted, and then Penn State, all pay into local match. So, for instance, when Half Moon dropped, their amount was just split among everybody. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Spring's amount would come only to Benner and Bellefonte. That would be something for the group as a whole to decide.
Kimberly, do you want to just take a second? Because I'm not.
Something is wrong with the sound, I'm sorry, I just can't hear you.
All right, I'll try to talk louder. Can you, if you can hear me, what I wanted to ask, and Derek, can you hear me? I guess not.
He's muted.
Well, he is, but I'm not, so.
Okay, I missed everything you said till right now, sorry.
What I was going to ask Kim.
Oh, you're gone again.
What I was going to ask you is, and if sometimes someone else says it, it might be where the owl's located. One of the questions I think that comes up, if Spring Township would drop out, what impact does that have on Bellefonte? Not just in terms of money, but where Bellefonte riders can travel to.
So, for us to have service in a municipality, whether it's bus or Cata Ride or Cata Go or anything like that, we have to be getting some contribution from the municipality. So no destination in Spring Township would be available anymore. The Weiss Township, or the Weiss store in Spring Township is a very popular destination for Bellefonte residents. And then anything else over in Pleasant Gap, the driver's license center, I don't know if there's any medical facilities. Basically, anything in Spring Township would no longer be accessible. Also, Spring residents who are coming into Bellefonte for things would not have that trip either. We would literally just have to close our door at the border.
Wouldn't make sense that they would want to drop out that. That doesn't make any sense to me as to why they want to. It looks extremely popular.
Well,
those are major destinations in their township. You would think that they would want to continue that service.
well, I can go ahead, Kimberly.
I was just gonna offer, like, I'm not gonna speak for them. My impression is they seem to be much more interested in their residents using the service than people coming to their businesses.
Okay. Okay.
That's the impression
Right.
that's the impression that I
Well,
got
that's
from them at
different
the
then.
meetings. In addition, they feel like if the riders are going to the Weiss store, then maybe the Weiss store should be contributing.
Okay. Well, let's wait and see. I guess if they drop out, right? Let's hope they don't. For the as popular as this is, it looks like it's really being used.
Deb, you had a question?
Yes, thank you for Cata for providing all of this information because it really helps us to see what the service levels are. One thing that you didn't include was the ridership statistics from the Bellefonte service area to and from the Park Avenue medical facilities, the 1850 building and the hospital.
Okay, we can get that for you.
Okay.
Well,
That's an essential service, and I have also used that to get the Scenery Park, because Scenery Park has the Cata Go service, so you can piggyback on that.
so you want it to the Mount Nittany Medical Center hospital stop?
Yeah, just-
Now, Scenery Park is not a direct destination from Bellefonte. You'd have to connect other ways
And
through the system, so we can't track that as easily.
Right, I know, but that is a possibility, somebody needs to do it.
I'm sorry, I don't know what keeps happening with the volume going out.
It's on our end. It's been a problem.
Okay.
What's the difference between these two maps?
Or get on the bus, get on the bus.
Oh,
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you. Get on the bus.
Were you talking about the two different maps?
Yes, that was the question, Derek. Yes.
Origins.
Okay, sorry. You have one map that's labeled destinations and one map that's labeled origins. So basically, it's the to and from trips is what it is. It's just, that's the way it separates in the system.
Hey,
if somebody's booking from Y store to High Street, it's your destination and origin, so it's showing both sides.
Hey, Derek, I can look at these numbers and I don't really know. Are you guys pleasantly surprised by the use of your service in and around our area? I mean, are those numbers shocking to you as well, or?
Well, hey, here's, when we started the program, on day one, we had 13 riders. The first month, we had 513. In February, we had our highest month in Bellefonte with 4,752 new riders. And there's weeks that we're, and days now that we're running over 200 trips in a day. So we didn't probably, well, one, we never expected it to grow as well as it did during COVID. It was the only thing in Canada that actually grew. And then it has, it does increase. Now, when you look at the service area out there, between Bellefonte, Benner, and Spring, you also have a lot going on out there in the last couple of years and continue to. So it's, it's a growing area. Would I have believed that we would be at 200 trips a day by now? No. I can't even tell you that, I wish I would have been that good to know that. But if I would have had to take a guess, we would have been between the 130, 160 mark.
Well, that's good then.
So Derek tracks statistics and sends them to me all the time, and he notes new records and stuff, and every single time I send him the same answer, and that is yay and yikes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, but it's also, oh my God, oh my goodness.
Right, yeah.
Has the Cata-Go service had any impact on Cata-Ride?
Yes, the percentage, I can't tell you. So, and that's something we're starting to look into. So I'm just gonna give you one example. Greystone, that's over there on across from Sheets. We have a lady over there that used to use Cata-Ride to go into Bellefonte. Now, she uses Cata-Ride to go across town, but all her trips to Bellefonte and Walmart are now used with Cata-Go because she has the convenience of the on-demand. So that's just one, and you've seen a significant change in her ridership patterns. And that's just, like I said, that is just one specific example. It is something that we're starting to dive into, and get more knowledge on that and how that is working. But we are seeing impacts. And I believe positive impacts, especially for our patrons.
Some of those include, for Cata-Ride, you have to book the day before.
Yep.
For Cata-Go, it can be on demand same day. You can watch it on your phone to see when it's coming, arrival time, things like that. There's some people who just need Cata-Ride, and that's perfectly fine and fantastic. And then, like Derek said, if they're trying to go from like Bellefonte to a doctor in Ferguson Township, that would require a lot of transfers. Their better bet is still to do Cata-Ride. But some people are liking Cata-Go just for on-the-fly trips that are close enough.
Any other questions?
I'm confused as to why we have College Township and State College Borough included on XB rider statistics for 8/15/22 to 3/12/23. They have nothing in on this, do they?
No, it travels through those municipalities.
Right, that's
So
the next
the
speed route
total
goes
ridership
through
is
St.
noted, and then it's broken down by the stops in Bellefonte, the stops in Benner. So to get all of that to add up to the total, you have to include the stops in College and State College Borough also. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and just so I understand this, the Bellefonte Borough, Spring and Better do both the regular bus and the Cata-Go in these numbers, is that correct?
There's different reports. So the one is strictly bus, another is strictly Cat a Ride for elderly and disabled individuals, and the other one is strictly Go. So you have 3 different ridership totals. Ride and Go are Benner, Spring, and Bellefonte. The bus does not touch Spring. It only goes through Benner and Bellefonte Borough. I think there technically is one stop that's like very, very close to a border that is in Spring for the bus.
That's correct.
The XB is only Bellefonte and Benner.
So how the current formula works, like I said, the group is working on, and like Dawn said, the group is working on a new formula. But the current formula, if we need to continue and just go up 5% a year, how it works is that there is an amount carved off the top that just goes to Spring, Benner, Bellefonte. And then those percentages he mentioned at the beginning, the 49, 41, 9, I think, that is the agreement among the 3 of you. So that amount that comes off the top can be divided in any way.
Anything else from council? I have no further.
Okay.
I think-
Okay, Kimberly, Derek, thank you very much for tuning in tonight and answering the questions of council. We appreciate your time.
Good job on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. We're happy to do it. We shared this same information with Spring and Benner with the same offer to come and explain anything. And beyond that, it's really among the 3 entities to either get together or not and tell us if there's a change or not, okay?
That's good. We haven't heard anything, and I think that we're okay just leaving it as is.
For now.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank you. We
Thank
love the
you, guys.
support you've given us. And the customers certainly love this Cat a Go. It's amazing. So
Yeah.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item A for items of discussion, Musser Lane compost facility hours for public access.
Just to give everyone some background, we've talked about the composting site many times. As everybody here already knows, the composting site's open beginning in April and runs through up to about the week before Thanksgiving on Saturday. So every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11:45 a.m., it's open for all residents of Bellefonte Borough, Spring Township, and Benner Township to take any composting materials to. So in addition, because when we got the 902 grant and put the gate in, the new gate, now the gate's controlled here locally. We open the gate in the morning for the refuse department, Monday through Friday. So during the hours that the gate is open, which is Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. until 2 p.m., residents can take any materials to Musser Lane. Fridays, the refuse department starts at 5 a.m., so I say 7, it's open earlier if someone wanted to go down there in the dark, but 7 a.m. till 1 p.m. on Fridays is when anyone can go down. I know we've had some council members, now that we have access to cards that we could issue, we could set the time later, and I think there has been some interest from some council members. We've talked to staff about this. Because of liability, it's not something we would recommend. However, if council wants to have additional hours, it's not a problem for us at all to make those modifications. So having said that, now I guess it's just open for discussion.
What was the Saturday hours one more time?
8 a.m. till 11:45.
It's really till 12, but that's the 4 hours that we have it manned with one of the staff, so.
11:45 gives the staff a little grace period to be out by noon time. So if somebody comes in 11:45, takes them 15 minutes to unload, it's time for the staff to go home. That's sort of why we cut it off at 11:45. I think it's been working pretty well over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I honestly think that we really, it's one of the few things that both townships and Bellefonte residents seem to really like this particular program, where it's going, and I haven't heard too many complaints now that, there's access during the day, Monday through Friday. In the summertime, I could see, if one thing I would say if council wanted to consider that I think would be helpful is that we're losing, when we first started the program, everybody knows we had a grass container with a yellow lid and a brush container with a brown lid, and we went around and picked it up separately. So the brush went with the brush pile. The grass used to be dumped with the leaves. The nitrogen from grass clippings really helps enhance the breakdown of the leaves. And ever since that we switched that, now we have to mix the grass and brush together, so that it just gets dumped separately. So if council wanted to consider maybe some of these grass cutters that do this for a living in the summer and have large amounts of grass, I think it actually would be a benefit for us to, if they wanted to purchase a car, that they could get in late in the evening because they work late, and dump the grass up with the leaves, and then it would probably be beneficial to the borough because it would help our composting.
Have we had any of those late night requests from any?
I haven't had any, but I don't know if there would, so I do know there's people out there, a lot of people that do cut grass, you being one, Mr. Johnson, but there's others that have businesses.
There's no cost to that. Then it would also be open to Bellefonte residents who just can't make it before they close during the week. I don't want to create additional cost or manpower or anything like that, but if it's simply giving them a card, they swipe to go in at 7:30 at night because they work out of town and dump their grass.
That's the discussion, Ken. We have the ability to do that. The question is do you want to charge for the card and allow
Sure.
access? A lot of times that's not
I think
open.
someone who wanted to have a card would be willing to pay a fee for it. Yeah.
Because early on, whenever we started talking about the cameras and everything, we talked about times, changing the times and making it later in the day. But apparently that topic has changed a little bit.
Well, we did install the cameras. The cameras, my understanding, I haven't viewed them myself, but from everyone that has looked at them told me the resolution is a lot better, and we can actually read license plates. So, there are cameras there for security purposes. The only thing our concern is dumping. We've had people take railroad ties and paint cans and things like that, and has dumped stuff, and that's what we're trying to. That's what we're trying to avoid, because it puts our permit with DEP at risk.
Are the cameras set up so that we could see who's doing that and get the license plates, or is it just where the cars come in?
They don't come in the same gate.
Yeah, there's,
Something on it.
let me say it this way, Joanne. We see everybody that's going in and out.
Okay. So you could try to figure out if we saw something dumped, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can see that, you can see what's going in and out, yeah.
Okay.
So the question is, do we want to expand hours, or do we want to just provide a card to allow those people who want to go after hours to use it? Is that right, Mr. Holderman?
Yeah, what I'm saying, I guess, Ken, is I think we would be open to like professional workers that are doing it for a
Right.
living. I wouldn't want to hand out cards to just anybody. It's, if you can't make it during the week, you have Saturday morning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But to get potential more grass to mix with the leaves, I would be for that. And these guys that are doing it for a living, they want the place to, they want a consistent place to dump it. They're not going to risk doing any harm to lose that I would think, to lose that. I don't know how you all feel, but that's what I would think.
Yes, sounds good.
What
Let's
kind
do
of
it.
fees is anybody thinking of for the after-hours drop-off?
It'd be up to you.
Well,
Julie
up to
Brooks.
the cost of the,
Julie Brooks is our, Assistant Public Works. Julie, if you have any comments, I mean, feel free to add anything.
No, that does make sense.
Julie, will you come up to the podium,
Yeah.
please?
What you're saying, having it for professional landscapers does make sense. As far as fees go, I'm not sure I have anything. We're not really charging for the compost at this time. I'm thinking, maybe a $50 or $25 fee or something to start would be. Not really basing that on anything in particular. I don't know of anywhere that has a card like that access, unless you do any townships that access that way, so that we could kind of look that up and find a fee based on that.
I mean, I think it's really tailored to, I think this throws some numbers out, and, I mean,
Well, yeah, $25, you know?
What does
For
it
the-
cost
for the
for the
year or
bin,
something.
for a resident to have a bin?
90.
the bin's now $75 for,
I thought they were 90.
but we charge $15 per bin to pick it up all summer long.
So, yeah.
So it's 90 plus,
Well, I guess 90 is incorrect. You said 75 for the 90-gallon container. right?
75 for the container and 15 for
For
picking
the
up all
season,
summer.
yeah. I look at it as it's all beneficial to the leaf pile and the grass. It's all good stuff.
Yeah. It's excellent, and here's the thing, this summer, we've already ordered the bagging equipment, thanks Julie. We've already ordered the bagging equipment, so there again, the quicker we can break down the compost and bag it, and the plan is ultimately, the reason we wanted to bag is so people that don't, they don't have a pickup truck, and they only have a car, they can go down and throw a few bags in the back, and we were going to charge a minimal amount. I think Center County Recycling and Refuse Authority is charging, I believe it's $5 or $7 a bag, and I mean, I was thinking, $3 or something like that for ours. So hopefully by next year, we'll be able to start bagging some of the compost and some of the wood mulch that we have.
so Kevin, you're talking $25, that would be for the season, for '23. So if we want to change it into
Yeah.
going into '24, we can look at that if once we get the composting and the bagging, all that working, we may want to look at adjusting those numbers again.
And that's really just an admin fee and
Yeah.
cost of the
Card.
card.
Exactly.
And a little bit
They're
of
gonna
time
lose it,
to
and
set
these
it
guys
up.
are gonna, so just, right, that's what I was thinking, just to get it started.
Yeah.
that's a good point. Well, what if a card is lost, what do we do
Well,
then?
You have a lost card fee.
They gotta pay another $25, or whatever. Something-
Whatever,
just keep it-
it's-
just let's keep it simple and get it started, because it sounds really, really good.
Yeah, the
So-
worst thing is that they lose it and then someone knows what
Right.
it's for and then they
And you know what,
use
that's a
it.
good point you made too, by not giving it out to residents, and too, because that's gonna happen. You know,
inactivate the cards or
Yeah, once we would know it was stolen, we would
Okay.
inactivate it,
There
yeah.
you go, good.
Yeah, Alyssa's done a great job with that.
So that would have to go on next session's agenda, because it's not on tonight's agenda.
Yeah, and we're still, I mean, yeah, we could change that and that would be added to the fee schedule.
$25, is that what I heard?
Mhm.
I
Okay.
think that's reasonable.
Make the card fee 25 and the lost card fee 15.
Sure.
Yeah,
They won't get lost.
they won't get lost, that's right.
I think we'll just do a chip insert. Okay, next item. Item C, Sunnyside Paddle Park request for assistance.
This came up, I believe, the mayor was given an email here, or an email was drafted to him back in February, and we talked, I don't know if we talked about this at the last meeting or
We
not.
did.
But anyway, I spoke with, let me see, Rebecca Renner last week about this. Invited her to come to a borough council meeting. She says she's not ready at this point. However, she did say that, you know, they're working on some things, particularly with the flood analysis that needs to be done. I told her that I thought that the borough, you know, for the $1,000 waiver of the fee for submitting the application, I said I don't think that our borough council would have a problem with that. We've done that many times before for other entities, as long as they were sitting here and working through the process with us. But I said I'm not sure that we're interested in doing anything on the analysis, and she said that they're working on a different avenue with that. That there's they're working with some people with DEP, where she works, but she's working with some folks, and so as soon as they're ready, they'll come into borough council and talk to you about that.
Okay, that sounds good. Last item. Item D, downtown street lighting, and you have in your packet some drawings and some examples. You want to go through that?
When we talked about street lighting, we went back to a couple years ago when PennDOT installed the new stoplights on High and Spring and Water and High and Spring and High. There are two locations that at the time, you know, they offered us the opportunity to add these lights above the stoplights, and then they hang kind of out over into the crosswalk. So we went back to the supplier just to get you know, a proposal and see how much they cost. So they're about $34,500. That would just be for the materials only. That would give us everything, but we would have to we would have to get it installed and probably likely hire a contractor on this end to do that for us, as we don't have the equipment. And some of these, the one pole that you add on top is, you know, they're pretty heavy and they go up a long way. So it would probably, given the price and given everything, I don't know whether or not it's something that would be feasible for us to do. It might be more cost effective if we looked into just maybe adding a double globe or a triple globe on top of our current poles at those intersections if you want more light there. But
Would this work for liquid fuels funds because it's street related?
that, you know, I asked Lori to give us some options, and she didn't mention liquid fuels, but I'll go back and ask her about that, Deb. We looked at the street lighting fund, and we've exhausted all the funds by purchasing all the poles for West Lynn Street, which they've been on order for over a year and haven't come in yet.
But since these are going to be attached to traffic signals, or in the area of traffic signals, is that what time?
That's a good point. Let me check, because that's so regulated, we would have to probably check with PennDOT.
So the only missing number here then is the contractor who's going to do the installation, and so we need to know what that costs.
Yeah, we don't have that yet. We're working on it.
And it looks like, according to the drawings, the light only comes out 6 feet.
We're also checking to see if if we can get one extended out 10. I think they do go out a little farther, Randy, but he was worried about in some of the locations, the electrical lines.
But structural support, you get some high winds, things like that, and they start moving around.
These exact same lampposts are up in Erie and some other municipalities in the state. I mean, I could find some places and give you some pictures of where they're located. He did tell me, Erie's the one I can think of off the top of my head, but he did give me a couple other locations.
Randy, one of these drawings shows it out to 8 feet. So,
Yeah, I'm looking at one says 60. It might depend on what street it's on too. So anyway, 6 to 8 feet, I just.
So my comment would be, I'm not sure that this is ideal for what we're trying to do. The other comment is, I think in February, I asked about strobe push buttons at intersections and asked staff to look into that and the possibility of those installation. Has there been any response to the request if they're permitted at those streets?
are you talking about like pedestrian push buttons?
The pedestrian button, it's like a lamppost,
Mhm.
and the strobe fires the pedestrian, it alerts the traffic flow, somebody in the crosswalk, and they cross the street.
So this
Along with that, it slightly illuminates the crosswalk. And in February, we asked staff to look into seeing if those were permitted in the downtown area at Allegheny Street and the Diamond area, really. And I wondered if we had an answer to that question.
Not yet, Doug.
So that would be in addition to these ones we
Well, I
have
think-
stoplights
I
at
think-
this point, is what-
I don't know how, I see this lamp post is pretty tall. It looks like 30 feet total to me, right
Yeah,
here.
This is, sorry about, this is where it currently goes to, so this piece would be added on.
The total height is 30 feet.
Yep.
So how will that, if I'm living in the downtown and I'm in the second floor, how's that, is that gonna shine into my living room and bedroom? So that's one thing I don't,
And then how much light is coming
Right,
down off
right.
of it at that height?
right. And I do know, and I have the video for you, I didn't send it to you. There are posts that stand 4 feet off of the ground at a crosswalk and illuminate the crosswalk at night. For me, coming through town at night, if I'm coming from Bishop Street heading south, or is it south? Yeah, on Allegheny Street, coming up over the hill, I have a real problem when people are standing in front of the Chinese buffet.
Yeah.
Yep, it's hard to see.
And if those crosswalks were lit, you would see the pedestrians in there. This doesn't, to me, 34,000 a post is a lot of money to spend and illuminating the second floor of our apartments in downtown and the sidewalk. So I will send you the videos. I didn't
Okay.
do that, of what I've seen. I think the idea is to light the crosswalks
We'll look
as
at
much
that.
as anything. Not the whole block, but that's just my opinion.
Okay.
The strobe light ones that you're talking about are becoming very popular across the country that I've seen it in my travels. There's actually one, I don't know the road, at Penn State. I'll try and get video or get the address of it.
I have them right here on my phone.
Right, and they let the drivers know that there's a pedestrian in the
Yeah, and
walkway, period.
if you don't see that at
Absolutely.
7 o'clock at night in the dark.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
All right,
How are we doing on time? Just about.
probably about it.
Any other comments? Okay, I'm going to adjourn the work session. I don't think I need a second, do I? Just adjourn. See you at 7:30. call the council business meeting to order. We're running a little bit late, but we'll get
You're
going
right on
here.
time.
Welcome, everybody, to the Bellefonte Borough Council meeting. Due to the room acoustics, please speak up when talking so that people can hear what you're saying. Comments and reports should be kept to a maximum of 3 minutes. I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Mr. Holdeman, could I have the roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Bernier,
Present.
Mr. Brackbill.
Here.
Miss Cleaton,
Here.
Miss Dan,
Here?
Mr. Johnson.
Present?
Miss McKean,
Here.
Miss Purnell,
Here.
Miss Sedgwick,
Here.
Miss Tosti Vasey,
I'm here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Thank you, Dawn. In accordance with Act 65, if a matter is not on the agenda, council may take official action on it with the following exceptions. Council can act on matters relating to the potential or real emergencies. Council may add a matter of agency business to its agenda through a majority vote. Council must state why the action is being added to the agenda. Council may vote to add an action item to the agenda. Are there any council members that wish to add something to tonight's agenda? Yes,
I
Randy?
don't want to add to it, but I had sent an email in with the minutes of, from the Spring Creek watershed for January and the emergency meeting we had in February to be put at the table, but I see they're not here, so I'll check with Alyssa to see if she can just send them out to people.
Okay.
And I want to also get it to the borough authority as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Randy. I have an item that needs to be added. I'm looking for a motion to put on the agenda in the Harb section to add the Harb approval for 217 North Allegheny Street. If I could get a motion.
So
for-
moved, Brackville.
Thank you, Randy.
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Bernier. Questions about the motion? Hearing none, those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Same side, motion carried. So we're adding that approval, if it is going to be approved, to the agenda. So that was item 4. Item 5, public comment. I may say, this public comment period is for oral comments regarding to any action items listed on the meeting agenda or any comments in general. No deliberations will be entered into by council at this time. Guests who wish to speak need to sign in, come to the podium, state your name and address, and what item you're speaking about. We limit those comments to 3 minutes. Are there folks from the audience that would like to? Yes. Your name, please?
Scott Mauger. I live on East Lamb Street. I live a half a block from 227 East Lamb Street, which is a short-term rental where there were 6 shots that were fired into the porch and the rental unit. And I'm here tonight because in my block, or near me, plus several elderly neighbors have also asked me to please attend this meeting. So I cut short the commitment. I sent you all an email that I had another commitment, but I cut that short to be here and also speak for them. At the community meeting held at the Lambert Hall in November, I stated that I had concerns with the safety of neighborhoods of short-term rentals, since the owner of the rental either lives off-site or the owner leaves for the time it's rented. I asked if there were any sort of background checks done on the renters prior to the it being rented, and of course there weren't. This rental down the street on East Lamb Street isn't far from where the owner lives. The owner lives down in the backyard on Lynn Street. Did the owner ever check to see how many people were in that rental unit? The ad on the rental unit states the maximum is 6 guests. According to Lock Haven Express, there were 11 men found in the unit when police arrived. How could this happen? Are the owners of short-term rentals checking on their rentals when they have guests to see how many are staying there? And isn't this something they should be doing since they are located in our neighborhoods? Over the weekend, I spoke with an elderly neighbor who lives alone, and the only thing she kept saying was how scary it was for her to know what went on. She will now be worried when her great-grandchildren come to stay and want to play outside. Another elderly couple expressed the same worries to me this morning while I was walking. I think the ordinance needs to be reviewed again and some revisions made, and I hope this rental in my neighborhood has its short-term rental permit revoked. There were 2 council members who reached out and responded to my email, which I sent to all of you on Friday, March 17th. To those 2, I say thank you for getting back to me. One of the other items on your agenda tonight is No Mow May. I sent an email to Ralph with my concerns on this item. My feeling is if you want to participate, move to the country. There are enough lawns in this town that are kept within the borough ordinance throughout the summer months. So now for a month, you want the nuisance officer to turn a blind eye? I believe you all have a copy of my email to Ralph concerning this. If you don't, please let me know and I'll email you what I sent him. Another one is sidewalks. There are a lot of sidewalks in town that are in disrepair. There are markings at several locations that I walked that were marked several years ago and still aren't repaired. The survey on the borough website asks if more sidewalks are needed to efficiently and safely walk to town. Let's fix the ones that we already have to efficiently and safely walk to town. And the last item I have is garbage on the curbs of Allegheny Street, especially over the weekends. The weekends bring lots of people to town, especially if the weather is great. If the weather is good, people are everywhere, and it looks horrible to have trash bags and discarded items sitting on the curbs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen.
Thanks, Scott.
Any others from the audience for public comment? I don't see any hands raised. Anybody from council who would like to make a public comment at this time?
I would like just to tag on to Mr. Mauger's comments on the trash. If you go downtown Sunday, or actually Saturday or Sunday, you have trash coming out on the sidewalk, and it's either residents or businesses. They're just piling it up. There's no containers. It's all in bags. And, we complained about the Faith Center, and this is much worse than Faith Center because it's actual garbage, and it's going to sit there till Monday morning. So these folks should not be putting any of that out till after 6 p.m. on Sunday. So I think somehow there has to be some type of notification or so people understand when to put that out. I can understand some of the businesses because they might not be open Sunday, but that's what it is.
If I can ask a question on that?
Sure, absolutely.
Is there a reason that there aren't cans downtown for residents? I know my shop's downtown, we do not have a can, which I think would be much better than just putting the trash out, but I don't know what the history on that is. Or
I can tell you, Barb, because it's a source of frustration.
Well, that's where I thought we would go.
But I've asked on this a number of times, and it has to do with the buildings downtown and the containers themselves. They don't have any place to put them for a lot of those buildings. So I think it's worth really a work session discussion sometime to have further discussion and try to figure out what other options are possible. We got to look at other municipalities and see how they're handling it.
That would be great.
It's the mostly. I think Randy's right. It's mostly the rental units just bringing their garbage down. They put them in the trash containers that are sitting along the sidewalk for the public, and they're using them as their trash container.
Okay, thank you.
In the old days,
The horse and buggy?
no, I can remember walking the streets of Bellefonte, and they used coal to fire their heating systems. And the trash was stored in the basement, and they'd open the doors, the garbage would come up through, and the trash, or the cinders, and that's where they kept the trash until it was picked up. Those are the old days. Just a comment.
How old are you?
I'm pretty old. When you're walking downtown, you go over those metal grates on the streets.
Oh, that was where they.
That's where
set-
the ashes would come up on a crane, and they would be disposed of. So in the cities, that's the way it works. It's underground, not all the cities, but Rodney would remember that. Okay. We'll move on now to item 6, communications. Do you want to read these, or do you want?
Sure, I'll do it to the motion and then you can take it.
Okay.
The Bellefonte Soccer Association requests to use the soccer fields at Governor's Park from March 27th, 2023 to approximately June 10th, 2023. The days they want to use it would be Monday through Thursday from 5:30 to 8:30 for practice, and Saturdays from 10 to 1 for their games.
This is something they've done in the past, but I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the use of Governor's Park soccer fields from March 27th through June 10th, 2023 for the Bellefonte Soccer Association.
I'll make that motion.
Deb?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sean. So it's,
Sean, the key.
motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion?
Yes, I
Oh, I'm
do,
sorry,
actually.
Barbara.
No, that's okay. Have they filled out the form that we're having everybody fill out
Sure.
for events now?
They haven't, right? This is just their standard request to use the
Okay,
field, so.
okay. Well, and since we have additional charges now sometimes, would that come into play with this?
I can go back to Alyssa and ask her. to-
Okay.
I'd recommend we make this a conditional approval until we get the, we haven't seen a new form
We
yet.
can amend the motion. if
There's
you-
one in the
There's
packet
one in the
tonight.
packet.
Is there?
Yeah.
Would you like to amend the motion, or?
I'll get Alyssa to, it'll be in the,
Oh,
we'll
that'll
get
be
it
great.
from them.
Thank you.
You can make it conditional if you want.
Well, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Do we have to amend the motion to conditional dates? Okay. Are you making the amendment?
Yeah, I'll make that amendment.
There's a
I'll
second.
second it.
Thank you.
Brack Bill and Tosti Vasey.
Any discussion on the amendment to the motion, which is we're approving this conditionally on the filling out the form, proper forms for use. All those in favor of the motion respond by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Okay, the next one.
Now you have to do the whole motion.
Oh, okay. Okay, the original motion, all those in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Joanne.
Okay, the next written communication in your packet, you've already heard. It's, there was a letter written to council regarding no mow May, sidewalk repairs, refuse on the streets in downtown, and other concerns within the borough. Council may take action or consider further discussion in a work session.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve no mow May for the year of 2023.
Point of order. Last year, we passed that motion for 2022 and 2023.
I think it was only 1 year.
No, it was 2 years to give it a chance to see what was happening. What you can do, however, is have a motion to rescind, and anybody who is on the positive side can ask for a motion to rescind.
Yeah, I'm still think it was only for 1 year, but I'd have to look at the minutes of the meeting. If you have them,
I'll look it up.
I think the mayor, Mr. Mayor, he thought that we would be revisiting this.
I beg your pardon?
He thought we determined to revisit this year.
I thought that we were gonna revisit that motion. I may be wrong, or revisit the 1 year, and
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I think there was some afterthought to it,
Yeah.
and that's why I was under the impression it was 1 year, and we would discuss and see
If we'd renew
if
it.
that's something that we want within our borough.
That's the way I remembered it, but,
I'm looking it up,
okay.
just to see, to make sure we were accurate.
After further review,
Okay,
And then the other,
go ahead.
the other items in this
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah, I thought, while she's looking that up,
Yeah.
we'll put this for a moment while Joanne is looking that up, move on to the next one.
All
Please,
right.
Don.
Okay, the next item in your packet was effective EMS relationships with township and borough officials. It's a seminar for leaders to be held Wednesday, May 31st, 2023, 6:30 PM to 9:30 PM at the Benner Township Building. There's no council action requested at this time. The letter does say to RSVP to Scott Road, which you can do directly, or if you would like us to do it for you, let us know, and Alyssa will send the names of any council member that's interested in going.
Okay, great.
The next item is the Bellefonte Art Museum is requesting to have Bee's Knees Coffee Truck parked in front of 133 North Allegheny Street every first Sunday of the month, excuse me, from April through December 2023.
Okay. I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the Bellefonte Art Museum request to have Bee's Knees Coffee Truck parked in front of 133 North Allegheny Street on the first Sunday of the month, April through December of 2023.
I'll make, okay, I was gonna make that conditional again because we don't have the application unless it's in here.
Okay, Johanna made the motion, Randy seconded it. Do you want to amend your motion, or that, I can amend it, but say it, that it's conditional on submitting the application? Yeah, okay, so Johanna rephrased her motion. Randy, are you seconding the motion?
Oh, yeah, I'll keep my second.
Okay, so we have a motion and seconded. Is there discussion on the request for Bee's Knees Coffee Truck?
I have a
Yes, ma'am.
question. Are there restaurants within 150 feet? And-
Deborah said there is not, so
Okay.
I believe her.
Always
Well, in
believe
that
her.
case.
So I was gonna say if there was, we need to inform them, but if there's not, then this is a moot question.
We don't need to inform.
No, they need to inform
No,
them.
there's nothing.
Okay.
Okay, did that answer your question? Okay, is there other, do you have another question? Okay,
I'd like to make the suggestion that for future meetings, we have that sorted out before this gets so
Good idea.
confusing and we spin our wheels here for 7
Yeah.
minutes on a soccer association.
That's been asking for the last 20 years. You know, we have to make it conditional. You know, is there something that we can do to make that a little bit smoother? That's my discussion. Because it just doesn't seem like it's very efficient to make these conditional.
I guess my quick response would be when the request comes in, the response from borough staff should be, we need you to fill out the form for council to approve it.
Yeah,
But I
was
agree.
under the impression they were just asking for the dates. They were trying to reserve the dates, you know, like for the soccer field. That makes sense to me. But
And
then
we
we
did.
stop the meeting and we go conditional because they didn't fill out the application.
Yeah,
Is that-
I will just say that there are certain things that when they're talking about events, that's an event form, that's how I was looking at it. You know, now that the more I'm sitting here and seeing you guys want the application for everything, I agree with
thought
Doug.
the application was just for
We'll go
forms.
back and tell everybody, fill out the application, like Bee's Knees, for example, they're gonna need like 1 or 2 parking spaces, that'll be the extent of the form. 1 or 2 parking
Right.
spaces.
Yeah, it just seems confusing if we can make it.
Well, we'll get the forms, that's what we'll do,
Yeah.
Kent, to relieve this, is that we won't put these in now, we'll just say the form has to be.
I want everyone to agree that this is confusing, that we're spending time making these motions, and then we're stopping in the middle of it to make them conditional upon, and everybody's lost interest in this. So
We're doing it because.
Well, I know why we're doing it, Randy. I'm saying, that can we avoid doing it? Can we avoid doing it by, before it comes on to the communication, can we have everything in place?
Yeah.
So we can make a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that
If
makes sense.
everybody agrees that
Yeah,
makes more
I
sense,
think,
then
perfect. Good suggestion. We've asked staff to
Okay.
make sure that's completed before it's brought to council for approval. Right? We're
Yep,
good.
got it.
Okay, so where are we at now? We have a motion
Yeah.
to approve conditionally Bee's Knees. Did we approve that yet?
Nope,
Okay.
we still have to have.
Any more discussion? Those in favor of approving the conditional request from Bee's Knees, say aye.
Right.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, it passes unanimously.
All right, there was the next item, there was a letter from a business or a property owner regarding Pelican Snowball parking, people parking in the lot next to Pelican Snowballs, and council may take action or consider further discussion in a work session.
I'm not interested in a work session. I went down and looked at the parking lot that was being used, and there's a sign clearly says, patrons of this shopping mall center only, not for the snow cone place. So the responsibility is on the owner of the property that is complaining about the customers parking in their lot.
I'll make a motion that Public Works paint lines at the snowball. And then, I don't know if we have the owners request towing services for anyone who is parked in their parking lot. I don't think we can actually ticket. Can we
Wait,
ticket?
no,
in
that's
the-
private
no,
property.
That's right, we can't ticket in
do
there.
anything.
No, with that,
So-
it's signed, no parking.
So what I'm saying is that the first half of the motion is we paint lines at the snowball, so people know what.
That's another issue.
That was part of the letter. That was part of the request.
Okay.
And then that we tell the owners of those establishments that they would have to call to ask people to have those vehicles towed, because we cannot ticket in a private parking spot.
Yes, it's not.
Yeah. And I don't know if there is painting done, I don't know if it's the borough's responsibility.
It's our property.
Or it is our property, but they're renting it, so I don't know where that responsibility's.
So I made the motion, we need a second, and we can discuss if we do that or not.
Is there a second to the motion?
I couldn't hear it. What did you
Can
say?
you read?
I said that that the Public Works, working with Snowball, paint lines on our property. And we tell the Cravagian and the renters that they are responsible for towing any vehicle that's not,
Okay.
that's, because it's private property and we can't ticket in private property.
Okay. You were asking for a second?
I am.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
That's McKean.
I'm okay with part of that, but I'm not okay with the second half. I think all you need to do is notify the owner. You know, we don't need to reach out to the storefront. If the owner is the one who's sending the letter, that should be who it's directed to, that it's their responsibility to maintain and police their parking.
I think that's what I got out of the
Mhm.
Okay,
motion.
but I was just kind of changing it. You don't need to give it to each
No.
store. You just need to give it
Not
to the
for
owner.
the Cravagian.
So,
Mr. President, there's a sign there,
Yeah.
placed there by whom?
The owner of the property.
Okay, they put a sign up that says this is for us only.
Yes, as you enter the parking
Is
lot.
there a physical barrier between the Pelican?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
railroad
like a
track
railroad
and a
track.
curve, yes.
Yeah, okay. So it's clearly,
Mhm.
they're parking in someone else's parking lot.
Yes.
And then crossing railroad tracks to, okay.
yeah, I think some of the problem was they put the fencing up to have the play area, and that knocked off some of their
Well,
available parking.
Okay.
Now, they can still get it in there in front of that, but it still gets crowded.
I'm
over there.
okay with the borough staff painting the lines, but I think Mr. Halderman should look at the lease and see if they're responsible for paying our staff's time to do that. If, it's leased by them, so if they want to line the parking lot,
So-
they need to pay us
Do we need to
for,
make an amendment to my motion?
I'm making a comment.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm not going to vote for
So-
because I,
Can I
We're in the
amend my
We're
own
still in the
motion?
comment phase of this.
So-
We are.
Hasn't finished. Go
So
ahead.
can
Yeah.
I make an amendment to my original motion?
sure.
That staff check into the lease to determine whether or not Snowball needs to pay for the Public Works painting the lines.
Second to the amended motion.
I'll second that.
Okay?
That was Barb Dan.
Yes. It's been moved and second on the amendment to the motion that the snow cone, Pelican snow cone would be responsible for the line painting cost if if that's what they choose to do. And that's the motion on the table right now. Is that correct? All those in favor of
Check the
that,
lease to make sure we can do that, that's what it is, but yes.
is that, all those in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Now we'll move to the motion, which is,
Painting the lines with the cost and notify convention that we can.
right. Okay, did you hear that? Those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. CBICC, Don.
Yes, the next thing in your packet was a flyer from the CBICC regarding an energy biz, a three-series program designed to help businesses in Center County get up to speed on clean energy opportunities, energy efficiency improvements, etc. The three series, one is electric vehicles for businesses, municipalities, and individuals. It's held Thursday, April 6th from 4 to 5 at Springboard, which is at 120 South Water Street. The next one is solar for your business or nonprofit, Thursday, May 4th from 4 to 5 at Ferguson Township Building in State College. And the final series is energy efficiency for businesses or nonprofit organizations, held Thursday, June 8th from 4 to 5 in the Eric J. Barron Innovation Hub, room 612. Then also there was a household hazardous waste collection event flyer as well. That's going to be held Friday, April 28th and Saturday, April 29th. The event is by appointment only, and to register, you have to register or visit www.centercountyrecycles.org.
Could I make a comment on both of those?
Go ahead.
And it's a comment for both of them. Could the flyers, these two flyers that were put into our packet, could these be posted on our front door like like the Easter egg hunt is?
I see no reason not to.
No, I don't think it needs council action, just a request.
Okay. I do want to mention for the residents, the household hazardous waste collection. What you can bring is insecticides, weed killers, pool chemicals, cleaners, poisons, corrosives, flammables, oil-based paints, antifreeze, CFL bulbs, fluorescent tubes, and most other hazardous chemicals from households only. Do not bring latex paint, motor oil, medications, batteries, ammunitions, or explosives.
All of that information is on centercountyrecycles.org on their website, if you'd like to.
Could I also make a request that maybe we put both of those on our website?
Sure.
As a good reference.
The CBICC one is already on the website.
Yes.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I saw it there
Yep.
already.
The next item is suggestions for future use. There was a note, I believe it was an email to Ralph that he forwarded regarding the future use of the existing elementary school auditorium, should that ever be available. Then the next item, Clearwater Conservancy Watershed Cleanup Day is scheduled for Saturday, April 22nd, 2023. To volunteer, visit www.clearwaterconservancy.org/WCD. This would be from 8 to noon on April 22nd, 2023.
I would just suggest, if you have time to volunteer, that would be, that's a good project to volunteer with as an annual event. So, and 4 hours isn't that long.
And I have another thing. I went to their website this afternoon, and one of the links on it was they're asking for suggestions for cleanup along the watershed. Is there anything here, any of us on council would like them to focus on here in Bellefonte?
I haven't been looking around.
Well, council can look around the stream, and if you have a recommendation, forward it to the Clearwater Conservatory. Is that your request?
Yeah,
Okay.
public as well.
Yeah, good idea. And the last item,
Yes, the final item is the rail car accidents in the USA. Consequently, staff was asked to inquire as to what rail cars going through the borough are carrying. Ralph contacted the railroad operator that he hasn't gotten back to staff. He did get back to staff and stated they are checking with the Federal Railroad Authority and the Transportation Security Administration, the TSA, to determine what they are allowed to share as far as what is being transported through the borough. So until they get an answer, once they get an answer, we'll forward that on to Borough Council and
Perfect.
Borough residents.
okay, back to no mow May, sidewalk, what did you find out, Joanne, if
Okay,
anything? If not, we'll just go ahead and amend the motion.
I can read it to you. I've got it up. It's just my computer. It says, I made a motion to rescind the grass height requirement for the rest of this May, which would have been last year, and consider it again for next year.
Yeah, so that means we consider it. Means that we need a motion to, the motion I stated was to reenact I need a motion to reenact the no mow May recommendation. Is that what we call it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, is there a second to your motion?
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Is there discussion on the no mow May?
I think we talked about it last year, and I'm personally in agreement with the gentleman who spoke earlier. It's
McKean made the motion.
we have some
Tosti Basie second.
residents who don't always upkeep their property, and for a month, it looks pretty shoddy around our beautiful town. So I know that we went over the advantages and everything. To me, I think the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. That's just my personal opinion.
Sure. Any others?
I think if somebody wants to partake in it and not mow, then don't mow. And they shouldn't be fined for it if they don't, if it's going to be that type of situation. But if you want to mow, mow.
Yeah, I agree with Ralph. Or no.
Well, Ralph's not
It doesn't do much. But again, there's a certain amount of common sense involved too. You know, if it's getting too high and it looks really bad and you're uncomfortable walking through it, mow. I mean, the dandelion vine always comes back. And so I usually mow once in May, during no mow May, and it still works. And of course, I have possums.
Other comments?
I was going to say, if you set your mower blade to about 3 inches, which is a healthy height for cutting your grass, all of the ground covers and the dandelions that are blooming that time of year are going to bloom like crazy anyway. And given tall grass, there is an issue with snakes, definitely an issue with ticks in this neck of the woods, and it's not worth getting any more ticks than we have to.
Normal cutting height for grass is 3 to 3.5 inches. Yeah.
Keeps it healthy and everything keeps blooming.
Other comments?
I'm kind of concerned if we allow this, that some people may take it to the extreme and end
I
up
know.
with some of the shoddy looking yards.
I think they've done
well.
that.
Right, and,
I agree.
and to Deb's point, the same thing that we do start to get ticks, possibility of snakes, and you can cut it higher and still have all that effect, so.
And I'm with Randy and Shauna in that if this is just, it is for 1 month. We have a nuisance officer, and the things that happened afterward, people did not do it. That ordinance immediately comes back into effect, and they could be fined. So we have the enforcement on the books. It's just that for that month we're rescinding it, and it helps with the pollinators and with the bee collapse, which is the whole thing that we were talking about last year. This will help make sure that doesn't happen. And bees are not just because of the honey. It actually makes our food supply more healthy.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We went over all of those advantages last year, and like I said, that's just my personal comment. We do. I don't get a vote, but I'm personally not in favor. But that's just my personal opinion.
Sure.
Thank you.
Other comments?
Should we do a roll call on that?
You bet we can. Sure. Okay, does everybody understand the motion?
Would you
We're
state
either
it
for
again?
or against. The motion is to approve again for the year of 2023, no mo may. You're either yes or no. Roll
Mr.
call.
Bernier,
No.
Mr. Brackbill,
No.
Miss Cleaton,
No.
Miss Dan,
No.
Mr. Johnson.
No.
Miss McKean,
Yes.
Miss Purnell,
No.
Miss Sedgwick,
No.
Miss Tosti Vasey.
Yes.
Okay, 7-2.
Motion carried 7-2. Thank you.
So that, no, it did not carry. It
Motion, yeah.
Oh, what's the what?
Motion did not
Motion
carry.
failed.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Thank you, Joanne.
It's okay.
Okay, let's move on. Let's see, so we're at 7, consent agenda. So y'all are looking at the consent agenda. Any requests from the council for something to remove, for separate, for action?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Is there a second to Mr. Brackett?
I'll second that.
Second
Dan.
by Ms. Dan.
And I'd like to remove the first communication for a question.
First one, okay, that's removed. Any others? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side? Okay, it carried. Now, Joanne,
My question is this a date only or a full approval? Because
This is a save the date. He's already has the application that he's working on.
Okay, so do we want to do a conditional approval like we did the others, so we can get it back on the calendar?
To be consistent, I would say yes.
Yeah.
So I would make this a conditional approval motion.
asking for a conditional approval of the Bellefonte Sunrise Rotary Club 74th Annual Bellefonte Children's Fair. It's a save the date, June 3rd, 2023, and I read the letter, but I can't remember
10
the
a.m. to
dates.
3
They're-
p.m. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
On Curtin and Armour Street,
Right.
East Curtin and Armour Street.
Mhm.
Yeah. Although, any discussion?
Need a second?
I'll second
A
it.
second, Barbara? Any discussion?
Who made the motion?
You
I
did.
did. Oh, thank you.
You bet. And Barbara seconded. Is there any discussion? It's the first day of spring, Joanne.
Yes.
You got those honeybees flying around. Okay. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay.
I thought my phone was buzzing.
Reports. What's that, number 8? Anybody have any questions on the reports? There's, I don't know, 3 of them. I don't see any questions. Next item, liaison reports.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
You put on the agenda, motion to approve 217 North Allegheny Street?
I think, is that in the harp? Oh,
Yes,
yeah, you're right.
yes.
Gotcha.
Well, before that, the mayor's has a report.
Oh, yeah, so we have 2
You're
thingies.
not the only one who.
Okay, here we go. Mayor,
It's
It's
tougher
a
over there.
conspiracy. isn't it?
come on, you guys.
I just want to, 2 quick things. I want to thank our police department for their professionalism and for their hard work keeping our community safe. And 2, to earlier discussion, I know parking can be difficult if you're going to Pelicans to get a snow cone. Try parking in our municipal lot and walk through Talleyrand Park. It's a beautiful park. It's easy to access that and enjoy our park and park properly.
Thank you, Mayor. That's a good suggestion.
I'm going to ask Sean if he has anything. Chief, Leroy.
Chief, do you have anything you want to add? Okay, thanks, Chief. We'll move on to the next one then, and that is the approval for 217, the request for replacement of slate shingles at 217 North Allegheny Street. Is that accurate, Gina?
Yes,
Yeah, you can make a comment if you care to.
I don't have a comment, just it's stated there. So it's a replacement for the full roof, for the portion of the roof that is currently slate. It is a replacement for real slate.
Great. Thanks to Verizon for cooperating with Barb.
Yes.
Making this easier for all of us.
Yes,
And
that was
adhering
great.
to the guidelines that stick with the historic district in Bellefonte.
Yeah.
So thanks for your work on that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
I'll make that motion.
Motion
for
by Ms.
certificate of
Tastavasi
appro-
to-
Certificate of appropriateness.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second, Barbara Dan. Discussion. Hearing none, those approving the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Same side if you don't approve. Sign. Motion carried unanimously. Liaison reports. Most of the ones that needed to be reported are submitted. Are there any questions on the administration reports?
Liaison.
Any questions?
Just a comment, and I think Randy already answered it. He said he was going to submit a report on the January and February Spring Creek watershed,
Okay,
and I knew that they had met, and I know they met again last week. But Randy was not able to attend that because we were here in council chamber.
I joined it later, though.
Huh?
I did join it later. Yeah, I sent that in then Friday night, I just didn't have time, but it should be here in the office somewhere. I asked to have it put out at the table, and neither one of them got here, so I don't know if I'd have to look at my emails to see if I just sent it to Ralph or what I do with that.
So can we have that at the next meeting, or do you just want to wait
Sure.
for another whole month?
sure.
I
That makes
could
sense.
just have, maybe have Alyssa just send it out to council as is.
That was my only comment.
Well,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay. So that brings us to current and old business. Sustainable Certification Program Resolution. Motion to remove it from the table. So I need a motion to remove it from the table and a second.
So moved.
I'll second it, please.
It's been made the motion and seconded for removing the certification program resolution from the table. All those in favor of the removal, say aye. For the
Roll
motion.
call?
Wait a
A
minute.
roll call?
Yeah.
Okay.
please.
Yes.
Do you want to explain what that
You
means?
can- you can go ahead. Oh, you mean what it does to remove from the?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
please.
I thought you were talking about the resolution.
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
Right now, this resolution was tabled at our last meeting because there were some questions about what the resolution did or what it was for. So Mr. Halderman forwarded to all of us members the reason why the resolution was created. And I think I know the reason, but I think Dawn can explain it better. The reason is when we're applying for grants, there's certain criteria that we need to meet during that application process. And one of the questions is, do you participate in this sustainable certification program? Is that
Or do you have a certification?
Yeah.
It would either be bronze, silver, gold, or platinum.
right? So during the during that process, it was brought to our attention, is it through the PML?
Yes.
Pennsylvania Municipal League? And we don't participate in that program anymore, I
But
don't
the
believe.
state had.
We still are this year. We did purchase
But we,
we're in it for this year yet.
okay. So.
But you don't have to be a member of PML to, get the certification. That's open to any municipality across the state.
And so when the grant application asks for that participation, if we approve this resolution, then we can check that box, right? And does that increase our odds of getting the grant?
You raised
Well, it
the
isn't,
point.
the certification itself, you won't even get it without a resolution from council. So essentially, all the work that's been done would be, you may as well stop because they require that resolution to get to even review your certification.
Okay.
Now, when we submit all the all the information, that the borough is doing, I mean, we don't even know there's a guarantee that they're going to, that we're going to get a certification. Now, we think that we may be eligible to be in the silver category. So all that would mean, Doug, is that when we're doing an application on the single application process for DCED, DCNR, DEP, any statewide grants, the first question is are you certified by the sustainability program? And if you are, you just check the box. And supposedly it gives you a couple extra points.
So this is the first step in the process to be certified?
Yes.
Okay.
So is there anything else that we have to, any other hoops we have to jump after or follow, guidelines, things like that?
No, once you're certified, it's just the designation that your municipality, is designated, a bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. It just tells you what, it tells you that you're, what type of job that you're doing in terms of sustainability programs and so forth.
Okay, and then this lasts for like 3 years.
Correct.
Or it could go to 4 years, and then after that you start over?
Not quite. You have to redo the application every 3 or 4 years. There are certain things in there that once you check off them and they say that yes, you have it, you don't have to do those at all again. That's a permanent. There are others that they want to have things updated on. It's the updated ones that you'd have to go back and look at.
Is there a lot of staff time involved in this?
Well, I mean, Deb and Joanne and I have been meeting on Friday afternoons and working on the, just working on the application. They are requesting a lot of information, but I would say this, I don't know how many of you brought it up and looked at it, but out of all the categories, we're probably, I think we're 79% complete with it at this point. So, there's just things that we got to go back and get the information and upload, and this resolution is one of them, and without it, I look at it this way, in terms of grants, it can only help you, it's not going to hurt you. There isn't anything about being designated that would hurt us. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's, in a lot of places that, makes your municipality look good that you're, that you're working on these types of things.
I don't understand why we would have tabled it then.
We didn't know enough about it, we didn't have the information, it just came, it was on the agenda.
That was essentially
the
it.
purpose for the
Yeah,
table.
it was getting council the opportunity to learn more about it, which is, perfectly reasonable.
Is there a deadline to submit?
No deadline, Shauna. It can be, I think State College got this maybe 4 years ago or something, and
And then they redid it and went from gold to platinum.
Lancaster's another municipality that I know of, has it. Pittsburgh, obviously, there's municipalities out in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Most of them are a lot bigger than Bellefonte. I mean,
Good or bad, it's a resolution that is a resolution. You can change it any time.
I just finally took the time to read the
Mhm.
plan today.
Mhm.
Actually, I went through it, and I have some concerns, and I don't know whether I feel comfortable approving a resolution when I have concerns about the original plan that it's based on.
Okay?
That's
This has an effect on the climate action plan.
Yes.
What we're voting on tonight.
Yes.
Meaning.
And I don't know that the concerns that I have, it would take more time than probably what we should spend on it this
Yeah, I
evening.
mean, that's an important part, I believe, as to why it was tabled, because the climate action
Plan is ginormous, and you've held it up before and asked, has everybody, right? I mean, that has a lot to do with this resolution, is that correct?
It has it might have a lot to do with that would get us a designation. The fact that we have a climate action plan, Kent, that's about all. They're going to look at it and say, well, Bellefonte spent the time to do a climate action plan. Bellefonte Borough spent the time to do an energy assessment of their facilities, wastewater treatment, when we did Johnson Controls, when we used Wilson Engineering to do an energy audit up here. it's just them asking the information, what have you done? And you say, these are the things that our borough has done, and that's what helps you get a designation. That's all it is.
And so that's the first step in becoming certified. And so, is that right?
Well, I don't know if I would classify
Call it a step, because if
It's
you're saying
it's just
first
one
step,
of the
then there's gonna be
steps, I
something
mean.
else that comes.
That's correct.
ahead of us.
You put the information in, they look at it, they're either gonna designate you, or you're not gonna get the designation. They're gonna say, you need to do other things before you can get a designation.
Or they might say, we don't think this fits this checkoff box, we won't take off the points for that. In terms of maybe the climate action plan, they say, yes, you have a climate action plan, we see the document, and they would give us points. They're not looking at what's the details in it. They're just looking to say, do you have it? The question for the climate action plan is, do you have a climate action plan? There's a second one, is have you fully implemented it or partially? So there's three
Well,
questions on that.
I think that's the concern of many of the residents with the climate action plan is that something that we agreed on as a borough council to put out?
Yeah, the
Before
borough
your-
council approved the climate action plan after it was completed.
That was
That
before
was-
our time, though.
That
It was
was
before, yeah.
Was it 18?
September 20th.
All right, this council didn't approve it. Okay.
No. And they can rescind it if they choose to. This council cannot participate in it. As in anything else.
So, point of order, we need to vote on the table motion. The discussion was just on the actual motion.
You want to, and it was roll call, do you want me to go through it?
Yes.
Okay, so this would
Do
be.
you want to, could we repeat what the motion is so that everybody understands?
Okay, the motion is to remove from the table the Sustainable Certification Program resolution. So if you vote yes, you're
Removing it
you're
from the
removing
table.
it from the table. If you vote no, you're not removing it from the
You're
table.
just leaving it on the table.
Yeah, no discussion. Everyone clear on that?
Yep.
All right. Mr. Bernier,
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill,
Yes.
Miss Cleaton,
Yes.
Miss Dan,
No.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Miss McKean,
No.
Miss Purnell,
No.
Miss Sedgwick,
Yes.
and Miss Tosti Vasey.
Yes.
Okay. 6-3.
6-3, the removing it from the table has passed. So now, I need a motion, is the motion still on the table, or is the motion still there because we tabled it?
Right.
Or do we have to
We
redo
voted.
the
Let's
motion?
repeat the motion.
Yeah,
Now we're looking at the motion we previously made.
yeah, so now we're looking at a motion, the motion was made at our last meeting to approve the resolution.
Doug, hold on a second. I think Alyssa might have made a new.
I have the number here, unless that is incorrect.
Then the number on the agenda is correct.
320-02023.
Okay, yep, she did change that. Okay, good.
So this is correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor to approve, or to vote on Sustainable Certification Program Resolution number 032022023-001. So is there discussion on this motion?
Who made the motions?
I think,
It was 2 weeks ago, and I made the motion, and Deb, I
Okay,
think,
so that's the
seconded.
one we're working with.
Right, yeah.
okay, is there discussion on this motion?
I still object to the wording of the social equity or whatever is in that, and I think
Okay.
that's unnecessary.
Yeah, I am going along with that. I don't understand what social diversity and things affect, how that affects the environment. And, you know, if as a council and as a municipality, when we pass something or we stop something, it's, you know, it's to hopefully benefit the residents, and, you know, so that their equity's there. I mean, we don't control that. And I don't see how this fits into that. And that's something that if we continue with this, is something that I don't understand and I won't support it as far as being in there under this particular guideline.
Okay.
So being sustainable doesn't necessarily mean just within the environment. A sustainable community is what you're trying to build. And that includes your social equity, making sure your residents, no matter their income level, have housing. Economic well-being is in there, actions that create economic growth are in there. So it's not just, you can't think of it as sustainable just environment. And I think that's where we tend to go with
Maybe.
sustainability. And it also, so I was looking at the page for this, and they listed 12 different, they call them tabs. So cost savings, actions that will save the organization and community money, the health and wellness, actions that improve the health and wellness of your community members. So it's building a community that is sustainable in itself, not just the environment. It's hard to explain, but pulling up those 12 points made it a little more clear for me, because it's not just about our water, our, trees, our natural gas, but maybe it's helping lower income residents winterize their homes so they're using less gas and less electricity. It's more components than just environmental.
And that seems good, but who pays for this then?
Because the
We have to
borough
figure
does
that
not
out.
create jobs, it creates opportunities.
Mhm.
And that's why this is just a little confusing as to how far that could go. We've seen things in the past that seem to get carried away, and it's just, there are certain things that maybe belong somewhere else. Because again, as a municipality, we don't run people's business, we don't tell businesses how much to pay their workers. We can't do any of that. But we can get the economy going and get the businesses into Bellefonte. We've been doing that. We've been pretty good at it, even with the COVID going on. And so.
And the actions you take with those businesses help sustain the community too, so.
But this resolution is part of the step to getting the certification that will enhance our ability to get grants. This is for grant
Mhm.
applications.
I understand that, and I don't wanna affect
Improve the
that.
entire well-being of the community.
I get that.
I'm going to ask one. Can that be stricken from the resolution, or is this a boilerplate resolution?
This was a boilerplate. And the way that works is there's
Yeah,
certain
okay.
spots where you just go and check
Okay.
the box. and
I didn't know if we created it based
No.
on information.
So it can't be taken out, is that what you're saying then?
I don't know. I imagine you could take it out if you wanted, but I don't know if it would, what impact it would
And
have.
these things that are listed are the things that are listed on the Sustainable Pennsylvania website list of things, so
It's part of the.
it's part of their
package.
whole package, yeah.
Okay.
It just seems kind of silly to me though, because we are in the business of trying to help everybody in our community, not just the people that are in the wealthier sections or, in
So
the.
just why not state it?
Well, if you look at it from the standpoint, look at the help wanted at the bottom, it says equal opportunity employer. It's there even though it's a given.
I understand that. It's just kind of seems like you're virtue signaling, I guess, is maybe the best
Roll
way
call
to
vote,
describe it.
okay. Any other comments?
This is why I didn't want it removed from the table yet, because it's still some
You
areas
didn't,
that are
you
very
can,
clear.
I don't know if we can retable it if you choose to do that.
Well, I don't think it would pass.
Honestly, I would feel better if we went over the climate action plan as a whole council again.
There is no emergency to pass this, is what we were.
That's why I asked if there was a deadline.
Well,
yeah.
she can make the motion to retable it,
Well,
can't
I
she?
think when we had our last discussion, it was, we wanted to hear from other people that was on the committee besides Joanne and Dawn to get more information about this, and we got the link, and some people read it, some people don't, and I don't know why anybody would want to vote for something they don't understand, and I'm kind of in there too.
So are you calling for the question? or is somebody calling for the question, or are we tabling this?
I would make a motion to retable it, and so that we can discuss this. This is,
Okay, there's the
I know it
motion.
doesn't sound like much. but
There's a
it is-
second. Any more discussion on this, the tabling the motion?
I think that's a good idea. I think there's a lot of confusion. And I don't think we understand this, and I think it's important not only that we understand it, but we understand what our residents want with this. And do they want us spending this much time on this instead of other things?
Any other comments? Calling for the vote on the table motion. Those, do you want a roll call vote, or do you want a community vote on this
Roll
motion?
call, we roll call the other one.
Roll call?
Yes.
Okay, Don?
Okay, Mr. Bernier,
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill,
Yes.
Ms. Clayton,
No.
Miss Dan,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Miss McKean,
Yes.
Miss Purnell,
Yes.
Miss Sedgwick,
No.
Miss Tosti Vasey,
No.
6 yeses, 3 noes. So that's what I got.
yes, that's correct.
Okay, the motion is tabled. We'll move on now. That's okay, yard waste pickup begins Wednesday, April 12th.
Forgot the HBI Easter egg
Oh,
hunt.
okay, yep. I need a motion to approve the Easter egg hunt. That's on April 12th, I think.
It's the application.
The application is in there.
Yeah, it's in there. That's, I think it's the 12th, I read it.
April 8th.
Beg your pardon?
It's April 8th.
So
8?
moved. So moved.
Okay. That was a second, Joanne? Or-
I'll second, but then I'm going to amend it because there are some things in there that I think. need to
Sure,
be changed.
okay. Mr. Bernier made the motion. Is there a second to the motion? That was Joanne?
I'll second and then I'm going to amend it.
Okay, and now discussion.
Okay, I want to amend it to say that the banner on the bridge is for 2 weeks from March 25th to
Okay.
April 8th, because that's what our policy is.
Yep.
We asked for an entire month, which means it should be put up tomorrow.
Yep,
The use of the park with waivers of the reservation fee, but not the application or refundable damage fees, because that wasn't listed in there. They can use, and they did say they were going to use the park for setup, event, cleanup from 10 to 3:30, no problem, along with the requested road closures conditional on the use of the fire police that they're requesting. And food truck to be allowed with notification of Cafe Buzz, Pelican Snowball, and Bon Battles, because they're all within 150 feet. And then at the bottom of their application, they said, the borough said there's an $85 public works fee, so I would like that included as well. I'm not sure if that was something that you're just telling them about, or it's actually they're going to charge. So, those are my amendments.
I didn't write them all down.
Okay, banner 2 weeks,
Yeah, okay, you want only 2 weeks on the banner
Right.
instead of 30 days.
right. Waiver for the reservation fee, but not the application. Or
Waiver for the,
reservation fee, which would be $400, $200.
you're waiving the $400.
Right. But not the application and the $100
That
damage
fee
fee.
is, what's the application fee?
$25.
Yeah, and the other one was,
The $100 refundable damage
gotcha,
fee.
okay.
Their setup is fine. They do need to make sure that conditional on the use of the fire police, because I don't know if they've actually talked to them yet. Notify Cafe Buzz, Pelican Snowball, and Bon Fatas about the food truck.
Yep,
And there's an $85 public works fee listed in the application.
yep. Any other comments?
I'm not sure why they would need to notify Pelican Snowball since there's only one concession truck. And I believe it's going to be at the High Street end of the park. And
Yes.
Pelican Snowball is way more than 150 feet
Okay.
away.
That's right.
Okay. I can,
We can pull that.
okay, scratch Pelican Snowball.
They have here 2 circled electrical service.
Yep.
Is there a fee for that?
I think I think in this case, we might have let that go because we thought it was so minimal. It was only, 120 volt, maybe a couple things plugged
Got it.
in, so.
Thank you.
Would have been anything, I think it was like $10 we were gonna charge them, so we didn't charge anything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The question I had is, this is a huge
Who
event.
seconded my amendment?
Hmm?
Who seconded my amendment?
Who seconded it?
Yeah, I didn't hear one.
No one yet.
I'll second it.
Okay.
That was Deb Clayton.
Yes, it was. Huh? What?
I said, I'm telling.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And then we all want to talk.
I know. I seconded that, okay. The one thing I had, question I had was, this is a huge event, there's lots of people there. We have one restroom there, and will that restroom accommodate all those kids and families? I mean, we're talking a lot of folks here. I've been to a lot of road races, and before the race and after the race, I'm wondering, will our little restrooms at the park accommodate all those folks? Do you think we should consider having some porta johns?
Have they done
Just
that in the
asking the
past?
question.
Haven't they done that in the past?
I don't know. It says bathrooms for the public, they were gonna use it. So on their application, and I assumed that meant the bathrooms that are there. And if you have, I don't know, 300-400 kids.
Well, Doug, it could be, this is a will your event need. Yeah, they want the public bathrooms, but they also might, if they've used porta johns in the past, I think they're gonna go with
It doesn't, I'm asking the question, that's all.
I mean,
Okay.
they've done this, I don't know how
Yeah, I
many
know,
years
I know.
now, so I think they'll be okay.
Okay. Call the question, any more discussion? Doesn't sound like it. All those in favor?
Of the Easter egg hunt?
Of the amendment?
Making sure we're still in Easter egg.
We are,
Wait,
Voting on the
okay.
amendment.
We're only on the
with the amendment.
Yeah.
Okay, in favor of the amendment, which is, do you want to go through the whole list again?
2-week banners,
The banners are not approved for 30 days, so we've reduced that to the 2 weeks. You can't have it 30, that was her
It makes
suggestion.
sense that on the bottom of the application too, there's a note for
yeah,
Okay.
2 weeks.
even though they did put in.
And they
the
waived, we're waiving the $400 fee,
fee.
which I think is good. They're still supplying the application, providing the $25 application fee, the $100 cleanup fee or whatever. It's damage fee,
They get that back.
yeah. 125, that's a total, and then $85 for
For
the
the-
borough fee for staff.
Right.
We're charging that in this amendment.
Mhm.
Those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Motion carried. Now, we're going
The whole
to
shebang.
hopefully approve the day and the date and the time of the Easter egg hunt. Is there a motion to approve the Easter egg hunt?
We already had that.
Yeah, Bernier and Joanne.
Okay, good. So, is there discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Good. Just an announcement, yard waste pickup begins Wednesday, April 12th. Let's see. So those who have the cans, the payment is due by March 31st. Will they be notified if they haven't paid, or we just go pick up the cans?
If they haven't paid, they do not get notified. They've already been notified by a letter.
Okay? And
You
the
didn't get a
can,
letter.
I never get a letter. I've never gotten a letter.
Hmm.
I never know how
Just
much I'm
pay your
supposed to
bill?
pay. I don't know.
First year for my.
mark that down.
They don't.
I'll take one of those cans. Mark me down, Joanne seconded it.
They won't pick it up if you don't pay.
That's
but I've
correct.
never gotten a letter.
So,
And
The letter went out in January.
yeah, it probably went to my landlord, who
That's-
doesn't pay my can fee.
That's most likely it did go.
That's
there.
what happened.
Yeah. It
the
did.
landlord got the letter.
Yeah.
We can't send letters to renters because
That's
we
right.
don't know who they are.
Even though I originally signed up with my name and my check, and I paid for it all to start with.
Let me check with Melissa on that.
You're on the
It was a couple years ago now.
Johanna, you're on the list now.
I'm just thinking if I'm not getting notifications,
Someone else is.
someone else might not
All
be.
being recorded.
Yep. Well, they didn't pick mine up last year because I didn't pay it. So I didn't put it out
Well,
last year.
if you'd have called the office and said, hey, you're missing me, here's my money, they probably would have started.
The concern that I have, and I will look into this, concern I have is we have so many people on the wait list.
Yes.
That if people don't pay, we're going to the wait list, and then the people come in that, like maybe in your instance saying, I never wanted to get rid of it and I never got notified, so
Because that kind of comes out in the newsletter. When's the newsletter come out today?
It was
The
out on
newsletter
Saturday.
came out.
Today.
I got it on Saturday.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't
So
get
that's
it?
interesting.
Oh, I
She said
have-
she didn't pay last year and they didn't collect.
They
So
won't
that
pay
much
it.
we know.
No, but what I'm saying, Ken, is I'm concerned if people aren't getting notified.
Right, no,
And
I
they,
understand.
and they want to, they just don't know to do it.
I understand what you're
And
saying.
then we give up their slot to someone on the wait list because last year I knew we had we had over 100 people waiting for a container because we limited, we can only get around to 800 in a day.
So for people who get the utility bill themselves, what I've been doing, and I think, and Barbie is very amenable to this, is if you don't want to write a second check, tell her to add it to your next utility bill, and they'll increase the utility bill by $15.
She probably doesn't get
I
that
don't
either.
get that.
That's what I said,
Yeah.
if you get the utility bill.
Can you drop that in the little drop box out here? Is it checked daily?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It gets picked up daily, but that is the case in the water, sewer, and refuse bills go to landlords.
Mhm.
I mean, I know where to find the information, but I figured if
What'd
somebody
you
else
do?
didn't know.
What'd
Well,
you do with
that-
your grass last year if you didn't?
We mulched it.
There you go. Keep up the good work. Joanne would be very proud of you.
Blew it out on
2
the
years
street.
ago, I did not pay, and it didn't get picked up, and I called to find out why, because I thought they were gonna take it out of my bill, and they didn't, and so I don't wanna get people confused, that if they're not gonna pull it out of that, you gotta bring
You
that
gotta-
check down.
Check or add an additional fee onto your bill.
Yes. So my recommendation to you would be come in and talk to Barbie and say, I have a can at this address, here's my, what is it, 15 bucks? And then they'll come and pick it up.
Just drop the check in the box.
If you don't pay, then they're gonna pay.
In your case, given the confusion, I'd probably come in to make sure that it's clear if you've had that confusion in the past, Joanna. That's how I
Yeah.
would do it. But anybody else that's coming in can just put it in the box. Either the box down at the bottom of the door, where the utility bills go, or the box at the top of the steps.
Okay, we'll move on. Let's see, resolution for PSAB, proposed resolutions will be added to the April 3rd council meeting. Approved resolutions will be submitted to PSAB on or before April 5th. There's no action needed. Okay, this one I know this one, but I'll read it and you can explain it.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, it's pretty well explained here. The traffic light at Parkview and Zion Road update. Bellefonte Area High School engineers completed their traffic impact scoping process and submitted comments to PennDOT. The new elementary school project may cause new traffic lights and road realignments. The borough does not want to waste taxpayer money by doing a traffic light design, which is the first step in the process for getting the light in place, for Parkview Boulevard and Zion Road now, when that intersection could change. As soon as we know, the borough staff, what PennDOT will require of the school district, we can move ahead with our design and work toward the construction of a traffic light. Is there any questions from council? I know I've been getting a lot of questions as to why we haven't moved forward with the engineering of the traffic light. And this is the reason. The elementary school, the school district is doing a traffic impact study based on where they think the new elementary school is going to be built. Until we know the results of that survey, we don't want to move forward with spending the money up to $30,000 or $40,000 to redesign the intersection where the traffic light has been warranted. So that's the holdup.
Yeah, and none of the residents would want us to do that. Can we keep them updated? And who is
Absolutely.
Who is in communication with the Bellefonte Area School District Board on their end, so that as soon as we know that it's not gonna affect that intersection, we can move ahead with what we already
bet.
told them. You know, that's my suggestion.
You bet.
And nobody wants us to spend that money and do this incorrectly. So my fear is that it just gets lost and we get the questions and we can't give them an answer. And I'm only bringing it up now so that we stay on top of it.
You
And
bet.
say, hey, look,
We
June
gotta let
3rd,
the
we're gonna
residents know, Ken, we have to let the residents know, it's warranted. We
Yeah.
have to do it.
We're doing it.
We're gonna have to do something. All we're doing at this point is trying to be fiscally responsible
Yeah.
and not do it before, we gotta turn around, as Doug said, and then the school says, this isn't accurate anymore. So we, the borough, initiated a meeting with the school district, with their engineers, with the business owner of the armory, and us, PennDOT representatives. So we've already had a meeting, and the school district now they've just submitted their application, their engineers submitted their application to PennDOT. So currently, their application's being reviewed. Now, it could be as simple as PennDOT coming back and saying and allowing 2 lights. If they do that, that would probably be the most simple thing, and then we could proceed. If it becomes something a little bit more complicated, then it will change things. So that's where we are, but all we can do is tell the residents, be patient. I mean, they've been patient. It's gonna get done.
Yes.
Okay, well, any other comments, questions for that? Okay, we'll move on to the last one. South Water Street, State Route 150, wall repair. This is great news, is scheduled to begin Monday, April 3rd. The project is projected to be completed by August 7th of 2023. All northbound traffic will be detoured at Stony Batter Road and use Route 144 to High Street, returning to Route 150. The southbound traffic heading towards State College will travel through the affected area in the northbound lane with the potential of up to 15 minutes of stoppage on certain days. Those days are on note at this time. So that's the update. April 3rd
On
is
or about.
on or about the start of the project. So giving everybody a heads up.
Good news.
Good news that we're getting it repaired, yes. All right, any other questions or comments of that repair work that's happening? Good. Moving on to new business. You can read it, Pennsylvania Safe Digging Month. It's in your packet, April 2023, resolution number 03202023-002. I would like a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Barbara Dan
I'll
made the
second.
motion and
Purnell.
second by Rita Purnell. Discussion. Hearing none. Oh, yes.
This comment is not directly on the resolution. I fully approve of it. The attachment that came with the resolution said that there are several types of things the borough can do to support this initiative in addition to the resolution. Do we have any plans to do anything else other than this resolution? I think resolutions are great, but I think they're asking basically for educational outreach just beyond the resolution. If so, what are we going to do We don't know yet, could we put this on our next work session for discussion since they want these activities to occur in April?
I don't have any comment for that. I'm fine to approve the motion, but that's
Yeah, so I'm approving the motion, but this is related to, because they want us to do more than just the resolution.
I think we have enough on our plate right now, but that's fine.
I think just posting the information again on the website, making it available, is probably the best thing to do. People can read.
Okay. Any other comments? Call for the motion of the resolution. Those in favor of the resolution, you want me to read the number again? 032-02023-002. Say aye. Aye. Those who don't approve, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Okay, PennDOT upgrades to pedestrian signals at 3 intersections in Bellefonte. PennDOT intends to upgrade the pedestrian countdown signals at 3 intersections in the borough before October. The intersections are Allegheny and Lynn, that's at the elementary school, Allegheny and Bishop Street, and Bishop Street and Wilson Street. These countdown, there are devices there at this time. These are upgrades to those devices where they'll actually have a clock that's, I don't know, 15 seconds, 12, it counts down. PennDOT we were identified as one of the communities that needed this. We got over the threshold of 15%. PennDOT did a survey and found these intersections that needed it improved. They chose site-ready intersections, meaning no environmental impact, no electrical wiring. It's a basic, take the old out and install the new. And we qualified for 3 of those intersections. And that's going to occur any day now, up until October. That's that. Now, any questions on that? Okay. Council members, comments for the good of the order. Rita, you're right there. Do you mind?
Happy spring.
I agree.
Yes.
What is it, vernal equinox?
No.
Okay.
Not that written down.
Is that, yeah. Thanks for letting me know that. Oh, Deborah.
Nothing to add tonight.
Okay. You know, we have a patent response here when you have nothing. Just happy to be here.
I'm ready to go home.
And that was corny.
So speed it up.
Yes, Joanne.
So I put
3 minutes or less, remember. Okay.
The Spring Creek Watershed Atlas Working Group met last Thursday. They're the ones that have the online atlas. They are down to 50 brochures. They gave them out and asked us to distribute them. So I took 15. There's one for each of you at the table, and the other 3 are at the front desk so that people who would like to know more about it. For the public, the atlas is a online resource of articles, maps, and presentations describing the natural history of the watershed, its thoughts on local economic development, and the impact of that development on our watershed. And it's got lots of pretty pictures. It's got some very detailed, very well-written articles. Go to the Spring Creek Watershed Atlas.org and look at it.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Randy?
Just want to remind council, PSAB, June 4th through June 7th at Hershey Lodge. It's time to start looking at what their schedule looks like and see how many people we can get to go and be able to hopefully pay for that visit as well. The other thing with the applications that we discussed tonight, you got to remember these are new. These are new. We're just starting to use these applications right now, so we need to do a couple things, and that's to make sure that they're completed correctly when we get them. And then when we discussed this, I think last year, toward the end of the year, if something comes in that does not look right, needs to go back, or at least people need to be questioned. What were they talking about here? What do you want? So that it doesn't get held up at the table. And the other thing, when it changed, it gets confusing when you start moving communications around and you got some in the consent agenda and you got some in communications. I don't know why we just didn't leave it in communications, whether you're approving a time or approving a project at that point, once it reaches there. So that's my comments.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Mayor?
I think Mr. Halderman did an outstanding job tonight in Ralph's absence. Right?
Mr. Holman, any comments?
Two things. I wanted the council to be aware that over the last week, 2 of the grant applications that were submitted, we've submitted the invoice for funding. One of them is for the Big Spring cover, and the other one is for the band shell. And other than that, I am extremely happy to be here serving Bellefonte Borough along with all of you.
We know. Mr. Bernier?
Did the Easter egg hunt get approved?
Hey,
Two things, the
Yeah.
two things that were brought up early on when we had our residents speak, along with the no mow May, was the sidewalk repair and the trash on the street. I just wanted to make sure that those don't get lost in the shuffle. I've been hearing about the sidewalk repair since I was elected over a year ago, and that some sections were marked with paint. So if we could make that a topic of a future work session or agenda, that would be great.
We can,
All right,
absolutely.
That's it.
I had one, yeah, we chatted about roll call voting, or, hey, would you want to?
Yeah, I attended a meeting in a different jurisdiction,
Yeah.
in a meeting, and I tell you, I'm not gonna be able to do it justice. And I tried to explain it to Doug, but it was slick how they did it.
Clean.
Yes, and it was a busy, it's a busy municipality. So they would make a motion, get a second, discussion, Mr. Stewart, vote, and he reads everybody's name, yea or nay. There's no, and those opposed, same sign.
Mhm.
I mean, for the first 6 months I was on council, I didn't even know what you were saying. They didn't do that. Get the motion, get it seconded, have discussion, vote. And it went smooth. And I'm like, man. So it was a suggestion.
So, are you suggested we give that a try?
I am.
How does the rest of the council feel about it?
So is this a roll call vote for every vote?
Yeah, but
That's
they didn't
what
even
it
say
sounds
that.
like,
They didn't even
yes.
say that. The president,
Just calls your name.
They
you
just
know,
vote.
said motion, second, discussion, with no discussion, and they have a business manager there, or HR director lady, Susan, vote, and she just read everyone's name, yes, no, yes, no.
Ms. Purnell,
Done.
Ms. Gleason?
Moved on to the
Mr.
next thing.
Ostervase?
There was none, and those in favor of the same side. None of that.
That's kind of how Congress does it too, right? I mean, they do roll call votes, they just read off the person's name and they.
I mean, I kept looking around thinking, is somebody playing me? I said, this was running really good, and they were busy. They had lots of stuff,
Sure.
lots of stuff on their agenda.
Sure.
People coming up and talking, and yes, I liked it very much.
Well, if council agrees, I'm willing to give it a try.
I think it's worth a try. Why not?
Okay.
It just seemed more efficient, and I would think if I was a better speaker and I could articulate it to you better, you'd see what I saw. Watch the Penns Valley Area School District School Board meetings, and you'll see what I'm saying.
I think Bellefonte does it as well.
Do you want the roll call vote on the next agenda? Do you want to,
I
you
think
want to
they
do it, or do you
We'll
want
give it a
They
try,
didn't-
yes.
yeah.
Do it.
Let's give it a
Let's
try.
just do it.
And if we find it's even more time consuming, as we're going back to the old way. But absolutely.
Yeah.
One other thing that you might want to bring up, and because it's your award, I read in here about the drainage at Parkview. If you wouldn't mind, the grant was turned, lack of a better word, the funding was turned down for the re-excavation of the storm drain. And I don't think the residents know that yet. That doesn't mean we're not going forward with the project. So that's still on the books, right?
the funding, Pannoni submitted an application.
Right.
They found the county actually had some funding. It was the county that didn't select Bellefonte's project. They only funded 3 different projects, but once the NPDES permit is
Right.
Finalized, then we will come back to council. We have funding opportunities to be able to do that project. I'm confident that we're going to do it, and we're going to probably do it late this year. or early next year, but
Okay.
that's another project that we'll find a way to get it done. But we'll have to
Okay.
come back to you to make sure that you're okay with where we're getting the funding from.
Okay.
But there's different options.
Okay, I just wanted to,
And
have that.
we're not done on different opportunities. We're still looking at other grant opportunities as
Okay,
well.
great. Thanks, Don. Anything?
No.
Should I give you any more ideas? or- Shauna?
I'm just happy to be here.
Okay. We're glad that you are.
And a thank you to Chief Weaver and the police department for their response last week. I hope to never see that many police cars outside my bedroom window again. But at no point when I pulled in and I saw the police cars, at no point did I feel threatened. I looked around, felt like everything was okay, went in my house, but I felt good, even though there were lots of police cars there.
Good.
Were your cars clean?
I couldn't tell. I was trying not to be that weird, creepy person looking out the window, but
Barbara?
Last week was our Center County Association of Boroughs meeting. It was well attended. I think there were 6 boroughs that were represented. Quite a few of our council members were there. Senator Dush spoke. It was nice to hear from him. I believe her name was April from the Teeter Group also sponsored the evening, which was very nice. I just thought it was very nice to connect with not only our council members, but other boroughs too, and kind of talk and share what we're dealing with. So it was a good meeting. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree.
Before you go,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to have the parking times added to the work session, one of the 2 work sessions here in April before we get too close into the summer.
Good idea, Randy. Parks, sidewalks, parking, sidewalks, what else?
Parking on sidewalks.
Yeah. I'm open for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
But you went without a computer today.